Okay, what's the sitch?
Sorry?
You heard about the dead guy, right? The dead guy in the locker?
Yes.
Because it's the weirdest thing. He's got two little holes in his neck, and all his blood's been drained. Isn't that bizarre? Aren't you just going, ooh?
I was afraid of this.
Well, I wasn't. It's my first day. I was afraid that I was going to be behind in all my classes, that I wouldn't make any friends, that I would have last month's hair. I didn't think there'd be vampires on campus, and I don't care.
And why are you here?
To tell you that I don't care, which I don't, and have now told you. So, bye.
Will he rise again?
Who?
The boy?
No, he's just dead.
Can you be sure?
To make you a vampire, they have to suck your blood, and then you have to suck their blood. It's like a whole big sucking thing. Mostly, they're just gonna kill you. Why am I still talking to you?
You really have no idea what's going on, do you? You think it's coincidence you're being here? That boy was just the beginning.
Oh, why can't you people just leave me alone?
Because you are the Slayer. Into each generation, a Slayer is born. One girl in all the world, a chosen one born with a
strength and skill to hunt the vampires, to stop the spread of their evil blah, blah, blah. I've heard it, okay?
I really don't understand this attitude. You've accepted your duty. You've slain vampires before.
Yeah, and I've both been there and done that, and I'm moving on.
Hey, loungers. Welcome to the Slay Lounge, and thank you so much for joining us for our first official episode of our coverage of the Buffy series. This is going to be Season 1, Episode 1, Welcome to the Hellmouth. Now, be warned that this is a spoiler-full podcast, so we will be talking about literally the whole episode, the characters, some of the things that you would probably get the chance to think about on your own if you were watching it on your own accord. We're going to cover all that. So if you don't want to hear any of that, turn us off or listen and maybe watch the episode yourself and just disagree with what we have to say. I'm Billy.
Hi, everybody. I'm Will.
So this is actually take 2 of this episode. We recorded on Tuesday. Today is Thursday. We recorded on Tuesday and we got so excited. We're like, oh my God, it's probably like really awesome. And then I went to listen to the audio and it was atrocious. And I was like,
well,
I can't.
Well, it became bad because our microphones absolutely were not working.
No, we're actually doing a weird setup today. We're in separate rooms, actually, because what'd you say?
Separate.
Oh, yeah, separate rooms. Because the the microphones that we've got for the podcast look very snazzy, very cool. It just simply won't. Yeah, they'll connect to what they call it, like a sound board or something, or a sound clip, whatever. It'll connect to it and treat it like a speaker, and I can't use the microphones for some reason. And it's like Bluetooth. It's a Bluetooth device. So I don't know what's up with that, but we're using makeshift technology to do this podcast today. So, but not all things are bad. I have to be quite honest. I'm very grateful for all the support we got from our promo episode, especially from Mark Kirkman, who literally took all the time out of his Sunday to teach me about editing, what programs to use, what microphones I should use, etc., etc. And I'm just so happy to have people like that in my corner. Adrenaline Cinema Podcast, all of the people who work and do things for them, they're amazing.
I have to shout out most of the people. I do it through YouTube because I do not have Spotify. So I sent just the YouTube link. I know people did. My grandmother did go through Spotify, but on YouTube, I think we're up to 20-something likes. I think. I know just my immediate family and a couple of friends. My friend Amy was the first to comment on our YouTube video. My cousin Jordan, my Aunt Becky, my Aunt Athena, Janet, our friend, mutual friend, my whatever, and my mom all liked and commented on our video, our YouTube video, which is not really a video, it's audio, YouTube audio. So we're trying to get people to listen. It was hard because like people were like, "Well, I never watched the show." It's like you don't have to watch the show.
The whole point is to listen to us be goofballs about it, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I
That's what
mean,
I'm
if you want
saying,
to learn about the show, obviously listen to the podcast for that reason. But we've just, we're just so vain. We think that we're so funny that we can entertain people in the
we
process.
are. We are that. It's like just watch or well, I got good feedback. Like, they're like, we want to see, like, it'd be probably better if we could see you, because then we get
Yeah.
the hand gestures and the facials. Like, well, that's coming.
Hmm.
That's, please, for the love of God, just go and just like, for most parts, like, if you don't listen to the whole thing, that's fine. Break it up. At least like it, follow us or the pirate core. I was like, just follow everything. Just follow them. That's all you do.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
I was like, we're gonna do other shows and everything. I was like, oh, it's not. I was like, no. It's like I said that in the original text that I sent you, that it's not just gonna be Buffy, but
I think doing podcasts is like writing. Like it gives me the same vibe because when I tell people I'm a writer and that I published a story and stuff like that, they kind of give you a look because it's like, oh, you couldn't do that. That's not something you could do. And I'm like,
and
but it's cool.
my aunt decided, like I told her, which is I thought was funny. She was like, I
Hmm.
didn't watch Buffy. I was raising kids. I was like, that's good, okay, but
Your kids watched Buffy.
no, nothing. I think Sarah didn't watch it. Lexi did. So I was like,
Yeah,
now it's like, listening to us, you kind of get an idea. So now you can have something to talk to her about. Like,
right.
oh, I listened to, Will and
We
Billy.
should get Lex on the podcast sometime.
I am still waiting for her to respond to the text of the podcast.
Uh,
She's busy working with, doing her Mac makeup and everything.
yeah,
So she's been really busy with her stuff. And I think her
yeah.
website's about to come up. So,
So
yeah, a
it
little
just
bit.
his cousin is like this gorgeous, gorgeous woman who's like a whiz with makeup. She reminds me of Miss Spider from James and the Giant Peach. That's what she kind of reminds
A
me of,
little
Miss
baby
Spider.
boop. A
Yeah.
little baby,
Yeah. She's got
Betty
this
boop.
nice
Not baby boop, Betty boop.
she's got like this 1920s like beauty about her, but also meets like modern like, goth.
And she
Really
is
cool.
a big old Buffy fan.
Yeah.
She's been she saw me play the video game.
Mm-hmm.
And she would say that she was little, like 4 or 5, and she would like hold on to my arm, and she'd be
Mm-hmm.
like, "Get him, they're coming!" And she'd act all scared, and then she'd like, "Buffy won!" And like she got all so excited. And then for her, that's how she got started into it, and
Hmm.
then she morphed into a fan, like
Hmm.
naming her car Buff. Like
Yeah.
she,
Yeah.
she's mine. Oh, and then my sister just started watching it. She just finished all seven seasons like about a month ago. Um, and where like you and Lex are like, Spike and Buffy.
She's Angel and Buffy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But she's due for a rewatch, so she should listen to us talk about it so she can do the rewatch
But yeah,
and think.
she listened to us and finished
Mhm.
it. She's like, it's funny, it's good. She's like, I know you guys are working on things. She's like, so there's no point going, oh, your
Mhm.
microphone sounds weird. She's like, everybody has a beginning, and then you just continue and just get better at over time.
Mhm.
Like we listened to, Call Me Chris, and now,
Oh yeah, one of our biggest inspirations. My inspiration is more my favorite murder. I love those gals, Karen Kilgariff and Georgia Hardstark. Love them. But yours is more Call Me Chris and Selena Spooky Boo and yeah. Oh, and Christina Randall.
yeah, and Oompa.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like her, like Caleb and her just are building a actual like studio on their property, and
Hmm.
they actually have the outside done. It's outside's all in black. It's like pretty. I was like,
That's awesome.
one day.
That's awesome. Maybe, maybe. But first, we have to get through our episode. So the synopsis of this episode is Buffy Summers has just moved to Sunnydale, having left her life behind in LA after being kicked out of her old high school. She wants to settle into her new room in her new house and even make new friends. But that's all pushed to the side when her mystical duty forces her to defend the town from a cult of vampires and their ancient leader, the Master. So, who plays Buffy Summers?
Buffy Summers is played by Sarah Michelle Gellar, our mother, our queen.
We call her mom.
Yeah, mother. She's best known for, I know what you did last summer. Scream 2. She also her biggest break was getting All My Children, playing against Susan Lucci and winning her first Emmy. She's done other movies like The Grudge, the original
Hmm.
Grudge movie for Americanized, I guess, The Grudge, I should say.
I was gonna say the original Grudge is
Yeah, like she's not the
Ju-on.
original Grudge,
Yeah,
but like the
Ju-on.
Americanized
Yeah.
first time because they came out that.
Wait, sorry to interrupt, but didn't they make like another one of those?
Yeah, they've made a newer one.
Oh, I have not seen it. Wait, didn't they make it into a TV show though?
No, I think it's just a
Oh,
movie.
okay. I
But
hallucinated that.
yeah, she's in that The Grudge, and then she's also done um TV shows with Robin Williams. I can't remember the name of that show, but she did Wolfpack, which and now she's in the new Dexter prequel show. Um, and it's just she's amazing and she's a great actress, and
Hmm.
it just seems sometimes with like the stuff she does, like she's so here, and the show is like just below it, like
Yeah.
she's better than the show, and so therefore
Hmm.
it's like she's great and she gets her fan base to watch it, but they're like the show's boring except for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I never got a chance to watch that one, I think.
I didn't watch Wolfpack.
We didn't put it on, I don't think. No. You kept talking about it, but we just never got around to it. Yeah, no.
And
That
then
sucks.
we have Allison Hannigan who plays Willow Rosenberg. She has played in American Pie. She was in My Stepmother is an Alien, which she played with later
Seth
on.
Green.
Seth Green is her brother.
Hmm.
Um,
Which is funny.
and How I Met Your Mother. Um, and then you have Xander Harris, who's played by Nicholas Brandon. He's played in a few things: Celeste in the City in 2004, Kitchen Confidential, which was canceled after 4 episodes, Criminal Minds 2007, and Private Practice 2010. Uh,
So,
yeah,
sorry. We have like weird feelings about Nicholas Brandon
yeah,
because and we're just gonna go ahead and air him out because I don't want to make it seem like
I am.
we don't like we don't really like him. I mean, I feel bad about what's happened to him and the life he's led, and I'm sure there's a lot of things that go into that. But when you read about him showing up to conventions, strung out and causing a scene and acting a fool, it's very disappointing because Will and I, we go to conventions all the time. Well, not as much as we'd like, but often. Um, and we're excited. We get to meet the people who played the characters that we um, followed and helped us either through a dark place or something like that. And then when you find out that they're not a good person in real life,
Except
huh?
when you show up and she decides to leave halfway through the line.
Yes, yes. And I know they say don't meet your idols or whatever, but it's like if you're trying to, I guess if the actor or person in question is trying to continue the hype for their fan base, then it's like there's got to be a certain modicum of decorum that needs to be
Her excuse was stupid.
maintained.
All I gotta say.
Yeah. Well, at least in her case, she had a almost legitimate issue. We're talking about the Pink Ranger.
No, Pink Ranger, Amy Jo Johnson, still love you, but still, it was.
Hmm.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Catherine Sutherland, who actually shows up for her job.
Yes, exactly. And she was so sweet. Okay, so he loves Power Rangers a lot, and I don't really care for it. I mean, I grew up with them; they're cool, but I never got attached to it the way he did. And we went to two conventions where there were going to be Power Rangers. The first one was going to have the original Pink Ranger.
It's original Pink Rangers, Amy Jo Johnson, and David
Hmm.
Yost. And then Johnny Bosch was there,
Hmm.
who was second wave Black Ranger. He
Hmm.
also did Artemis on Sailor Moon and stuff like that. But
Yeah, a lot of anime. He did a lot of anime voice acting. That guy, he's really cool.
and I am a Pink Ranger fan, always have been. So my most of my Power Ranger collection is Pink Ranger, and I was super excited I finally get to meet my original first, well, one of my first like ever
Hmm.
heroes. And I kind of, Power Rangers led to Buffy. Like it's like, but Power Rangers and her were like my first female hero, and then I got involved in Buffy. So it was like I get to finally meet her, And we get there, and we should have gone the day before, like we said we're
Mhm.
going to. Decided to go on a Sunday, but whatever. I digress.
Because we were under the impression it wouldn't be as busy, but
And it wasn't, but she decided to bow out.
mhm. Jesus.
Anyways, would you like to tell them about Joyce and the other characters?
Of course. So we also have Buffy's mother, Joyce Summers, who's played by Kristen Sutherland. She is not related to Donald Sutherland. It's just very ironic and kind of convenient that they happen to have the same name and be a part of basically the same project. Her real name is Kristen Young and changed it because her fascination with Donald Sutherland before he and her ever worked on a Buffy project. And I believe somewhere that she has a cat or something named
I believe
Donald
it's a
Sutherland.
cat named Donald Sutherland. I
Yeah.
think.
And she thought it was just like cute or whatever. But anyways, she was also Mae Thompson in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in 1989, Comanche Moon in 2008, and she was in an episode of New Amsterdam, which I have no idea what that show's about or have ever watched it. I feel like it's a medical procedural show though. That
Yeah,
sounds correct. Like, oh, plastic surgery
I
or
think it's
something.
because it's like ER and Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah. I love how they try to, yeah. That's so funny. I heard that I had that song, the little jingle for Grey's Anatomy stuck in my head this morning, and then when I went on TikTok, a TikTok literally pulled up, and the jingle was playing in the TikTok. So
I never
weird.
got into Grey's Anatomy. I'm an ER person. ER was first.
They're all the same to me. I did Grey's Anatomy. I kind of lost interest after oh my gosh, I forgot the main character's name. What the heck?
I
Oh
don't
my
know.
God.
I
Oh
know
my
it.
God.
Know it.
Oh my God. I can't believe.
I'll look it up for you.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. While he looks that up, we also have Cordelia Chase, who plays the mean girl in the school, and she's played by Charisma Carpenter. She subsequently goes on to the spinoff series Angel from 1999 to 2004. She has Veronica Mars from 2005 through 2006. She plays a demon in Charmed in 2004. The Lion Game from 2012 to 2013, and the Expendables from 2010 to 2012.
Meredith Grey.
Oh, I knew it was like something great. I kept trying to say her mom's name, Ellen. Yeah, Meredith Grey's husband after he died, I kind of was
She's
like,
played by Ellen Pompeo.
oh, that would make sense. That would be why I was getting confused. Okay.
Yeah.
But with Charisma, we love Charisma. We think she's so amazing and so funny and just pretty, and we appreciate her character. And it's funny also because she tried to be Buffy. She was the one who tried out
He
to be
auditioned.
Buffy. Yeah,
She was originally slotted to play Buffy.
mhm. And
And
unfortunately she didn't get it, but she gets her hurrah, her revenge, I guess you could say, in the Audible episode, which still furious that they canceled. Like, I don't understand why.
they're thinking of making Amber Benson a new writer for the new show because of how
Mhm.
well she did the audio book.
The way she had set up the story, it would have been freaking cool.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that's what they're trying to do is work that out to where she becomes basically the new Joss.
okay. Well, yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
'Cause I love Amber. You
She
know,
pl-
I can't
Huh?
say. I don't know if I can say that. Can I say something? It's about the future. Somebody who's in the future episode. Do you know she actually dated who she used to date? Amber
In
Benson
in the show?
in real life while
Oh,
she show.
who
She
was
dated
it?
she dated Warren, the guy who plays Warren.
Oh, ew, that's weird.
Right? I
Ooh,
was like,
that's weird.
I won't tell you why. It's
Yeah,
weird.
you guys will learn the relevance of this Warren situation in the future, but that's freaking weird.
I was like,
Yeah, I know. Yes. That is weird considering what happened. Oh my
you so
God.
cringe.
Oh yeah. Oh man. I can't wait till we talk about that because there's a lot of feelings involved with that. And I don't know if that like affected his career or anything after the fact, but
Didn't see nothing in the movie.
I know. Anyways, we also have Jesse McNally, who was played by Eric Salter Balfour. He was in a lot of stuff in the 90s. He was in a Lifetime movie called No One Would Tell. in 1996, and then he was the jerk boyfriend who tried to push the daughter into losing her virginity and What Women Want in 2000. He was in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which it's so weird because I've seen that movie, the one in 2003, and I don't recall him being in it, but once I found out he was in it, then I was like, "Oh, you were in that movie. That's right."
It went like he was totally different. Like he kind of got a little beefy,
Mm-hmm.
got a tan,
Because he's usually pretty like skinny.
gangly.
Yeah.
He smells like Craigslist. That's
You're stupid. You're stupid. He was also in 6 Feet Under, which is actually one of my favorite shows. Um, he
same.
was a drug addict in that one, huh?
Said same. He's one
Yeah,
of my favorite shows.
yeah, most definitely. And then he was in Haven, The OC, and Country Comfort, which I have not seen. Also, funny fact, he kind of looks like my brother, my younger brother. They kind of have the
Yeah,
same facial
I-
structure.
kind of your brother and my brother mutated together. That would create
Oh yeah, like Petri Dish, Zach
because of the nose.
and Travis. Yep, the nose. Let's see. We have Rupert Giles, which is one of my favorite characters, played by Anthony Stewart Head.
My
He did a
sister's
lot. Oh, really? That's funny. He did a lot of television advertisement for Nescafe in the 80s. You were telling me that people were reacting very strongly to those
Oh,
commercials.
they treated those commercials like it was a walking soap opera. Like they couldn't wait for the next one to come out. Like it was just
Hmm
like it had that like like an '80s movie, like this girl was dying from a woman's disease, and it's
The
like
woman's disease.
like I'm referencing Roseanne, but
Yeah.
it was like that cloudy look, and they'd be having a cup of coffee, and it's like, dude, it's not that great. It's kind of like when you watch Dumb and Dumber, and they're laying in the bed and they're crying over
hmm
the commercial with the money. That's what people would do watching those
hmm
commercials. I'm like,
That is so funny to me. That
it's,
is so funny to me.
I hate commercials.
Anyways, he was also in Little Britain from 2003 to 2006, Merlin from 2008 to 2012, which I kind of got into that show. Not really. I didn't really like the effects of the show. It was kind of cheesy. And then he was in Ted Lasso from 2020 to 2023, and then BBC Radio 4's Cabin Pressure.
Never heard of any of those shows.
Me neither.
So we also have Julie Benz, who plays Darla. She played in Dexter from 2006 to 2010. Roswell from 1999 to 2000, which was her break from Buffy. She went to Roswell, which is normal.
Mhm.
Desperate Housewives in 2010, which I don't remember her being in Desperate Housewives, and I watched Housewives. I just don't remember her where she played.
When Desperate Housewives was out, like still going as a series. The only reason why I watched it is because I was told there was a gay character in it.
The Sun.
Yeah, and being starved of any kind of representation at the time, I was like, okay, I'll watch it because there's a gay character.
He was
It
annoying.
was, yeah, it was an okay show. It was all right.
I loved his mother, though. She was my favorite Brie. Yeah.
Hmm
Julie also played in Jawbreaker in 1999 with Rose McGowan. And,
Yes,
she also played in Rambo in 2008.
which I
But
have not seen. I've not seen it.
I saw Old Fashioned Rambo. I don't even know New Rambo.
Yeah, I've seen the old fashioned.
Next, we have Angel, who is played by David Boreanaz. He also got offered after the third season his own spinoff, Angel, starting in 1999 through 2004, 5 whole seasons. Bones between 2005 and 2017, and SEAL Team 6 from 2017 to 2024. The Master, played by Mark Metcalf. He played in Animal House in 1978, Seinfeld, Gross. Uh, Angel, Miami Vice, Walker, Texas Ranger, Party of Five, and he's known for like you said, that snarky.
Yeah, in our Take One episode, I talked about this a little bit. He plays this hard ass, basically. That's the kind of character he plays. That's usually the kind of character he plays. But he played in Animal House, I believe he plays like a cop or something,
I don't know. Never seen Animal House.
or like sergeant or something. We'll have to give that a watch. It's such a dated movie, but it'd be fun.
And finally, we have Brian Thompson, sorry, who played Luke. He also played in Star Trek, The Terminator, Cobra in 1986, X-Files. He played Charm. He played Kronos as one of the
Hmm.
Greek gods. Kindred the Embrace, which you said was a vampire
It was
type.
like a yeah, it was like a law procedural, but it was like a dark supernatural law procedural with vampires that which didn't pick up, which I'm kind of surprised by that because it's such a fantastic concept. So, and I think I watched like one or two episodes that did come out, and it wasn't bad. It was like pretty decent.
And it's like, it was like that show Dracula didn't take off.
Oh
Very,
yeah. Well, but see, I can see why show didn't take off. It was cool. The first episode was cool, and then like it got into like this weird like anime style rooftop fighting, and I was just like, I could see
more.
why I could see why this got canceled. Kind of
I
cringe.
always notice with some vampire stuff, like show wise, they always it's like for people I understand, they're looking for that Buffy feel.
Hmm. Yeah.
That like this show really did make precedent for like vampire shows. I'm not saying movies,
Hmm.
but like it's like they don't like they've seen Buffy and they're like it's kind of like oh I kind of or like Angel even like there's him
Hmm.
because he's an investigator or detective, so it's like they want that kind of feel of it and they never can like do it. It's always
Yeah.
somehow messed
Do it.
up. You
Do it. Yeah, no, I totally understand and I agree. I'm trying to think, besides True Blood and the most recent one, Interview with the Vampire, wasn't Buffy kind of like its own island of vampire
It was for a
TV?
long time.
Yeah, and then obviously
Oh,
we get like
yeah,
Vampire Diaries. Yeah,
very like every day is a carnival.
I know. I can't with Vampire Diaries. I bet you we're gonna talk about it though, aren't we? We're gonna do a series on Vampire Diaries, aren't we?
Of course, we gotta feel like I gotta talk about Caroline, my favorite character, the blonde.
We'll get to that eventually. We'll get to it when I feel like it. How about that? How
Yeah.
about that? When I
After,
feel like
after
it.
we do Angel and Charmed and Gilmore Girls and all the other ones we want to do,
This
we'll
will be like a 2028 plan project. Or we'll probably or we'll like we'll do it on a whim. Like we'll do like maybe when the summer comes and we never leave our house because we hate the heat. We'll do like a binge of Vampire Diaries again and be like, which cotillion is going on today?
and we will not guarantee probably never do Twilight. I'm sorry, I don't think I could do.
I can get someone to do Twilight. I was a Twihard when I was in middle school, so I
I
kind of
probably do it
have
if I can
to.
make fun of it more or less.
You can, but you can because there's a and you know
Hello.
what? There's a lot that I have to say about that series, and there's a lot of people who like if you go on the groups on Facebook and whatnot, they'll be like, "We're not gonna talk about the religious connotations. We're not gonna talk about the pederasty and whatever." And I'm like, "But that's what you should talk about."
On that subject, because later on in the comics, two characters get together. I'm not gonna say who right
Mm,
now, and there's like their age different. I was like, but the person now is an adult in the graphic novel, and they're now in love, and they got married, and now have a child together.
hmm
Get over it. I was like, you guys do not care about Jacob and Renesmee having that whole connection, but you guys want to.
we can talk about that when the
And I'm
time
like,
comes. But
get over it. I was
yeah,
like, she's a grown ass adult by now. She's not the one, from season 5.
yeah.
I was like, she's now an adult in I think she's like, it's like season 12. I'm like, by that time, she's like 24 years old.
Yeah, and there was, and I can't even claim. I know we're totally jumping ahead,
I
but I
know.
can't even claim to be there any
That's what
quote
we do in
unquote.
this podcast.
We unfortunately do because we are in the know. You guys aren't. Anyways, but there wasn't even like any pre quote like grooming going on
No,
before that even happened.
he was with another person,
Right.
but like she had like her little school little crush on him.
Yeah.
But that's normal. But it was never reciprocated back
No.
ever.
Right. Right. Well, focusing back on the present, this episode is a very nice little neat introduction into the sort of overall dilemma Buffy faces in the whole series. This is technically a continuation to the movie with Christy Swanson, if you've ever seen it. There are a few slight differences, though, like namely that in the movie, the gym does not burn down. But in this episode, she insists
Well, no,
At that.
she went to Emory High, but
Mhm.
from the movie, she was a senior then,
Mhm.
and they changed it, and now she's a sophomore in high school. She's almost 16, or is I think she just turned 16.
Yes.
She's 16 as a sophomore, and they mention she got expelled finally from Emory High
Mhm.
because she burnt down the gym, which in the movie she did not do. So it means something in between the
I was
movie.
gonna say maybe there's another
There's
adventure that
multiple
we
things.
right. It's like she fights vampires in LA for a while, and then something.
And Pike is no longer existent. Nobody ever
Mhm.
talks about Pike.
He just fades off into the distance.
Yeah. Bye. Played by Luke Perry, by the way. We're giving a little shout out to Luke Perry because he was the damsel in distress in that movie.
And he did it with such confidence, and there was like no insecurity
Oh,
involved in his character's portrayal. And I really appreciate that. A man
he
who's
was,
comfortable being saved by a woman. We love that. That's why we think Luke Perry slays. Luke Perry slays because he lets a powerful woman protect and save him.
I'll make a little sound effect. When somebody slays, we give a little.
Yes, when someone slays, we'll say, "Oh, they slay."
We
That
find
slays,
it. Shing.
right? We'll figure it out. One of
Even
our
if
other
you're right, he didn't mind being the damsel in distress of her
no,
hero.
no, and it's his character. Like the writers didn't even write his character having any kind of like issue with it either.
Misogyny, there's no.
No,
It was a new
I
age.
think his character was described as being excited that she was a
Yeah,
supernatural
he
warrior.
liked it.
Yeah. It made her interesting. He liked it because originally he was like, these bitches are so fake." And that's literally what he
That's
says
what,
in the
and
movie.
she says the same thing. It's kind of like when you watch it, you're like the
Hmm.
progression in her brain, like how she matured like so super fast after finding out what she was gonna be or who she is. But anyway, so after she has left LA, her mom is now divorced from the father,
Hmm. Hmm.
who he will make an appearance 2 or 3 times. I can't remember. I think it's two. I think it's three.
Hmm.
Who's played by Dean Butler. Give him a little shout out because I'm talking about him. He also played in Little House on the Prairie as Almanzo Wilder.
Hmm.
So,
Oh, manly.
so anyway, so Joyce is divorced. She's an art dealer who has her own studio. We
Hmm.
could say that. So she had started her own business, or she worked. It's never like made if it's hers or she works for one, but she works in art dealing. She gets stuff all the time, and she has like shows. So I would assume she's an art dealer.
Hmm.
I don't think it's actually her business per se. It's like I think she's probably like a manager or like she's high up, kind of like what
A curator or something, or archivist or
Yeah,
something.
she shows it's her stuff. Like she finds it and all that other stuff, but I don't think she owns it. But
Yeah.
anyways, but so she works as doing that, and then Buffy is she because they moved there because a school would actually take Buffy with her record.
Hmm.
So when we show up on when episode four starts, it starts with Buffy in her bed having her with it prolific for it's like her dreams and her
Like if she goes into a specific area and then demonic and or vampiric activity starts to happen, she'll have like a dream about it, like some sort of
well, it's like prophecy. Like
yeah.
she's pathetic or whatever the word I'm thinking of. It's like Giles says it in one episode. Like he says, um, "Are you having your dreams again?" And it happens with Angel. It happens with other stuff, and it's not like a common thing. They don't always talk about the dreams. It's like random. Like
Hmm.
sometimes it's brought up, and then it kind of like just kind of disappeared. Like they didn't talk about it as much. But one of the Slayer abilities is that they get dreams, especially before they become the Slayer and their potential. They
Right.
get a lot of dreams because it's something to get them prepared to face in the future. So that's how we start. That's how the episode opens up. It's her in a dream, and she's in
Hmm.
her bedroom for her first day of school.
Right. And then she goes to school, which we have to comment on the outfit that they chose to make her wear for her first day of school. Very, very, she'd get sent home for wearing that outfit. Like, let's be honest. Yeah. Like, because I
Right.
wore when I was in high school, we like holy jeans were the popular aesthetic choice. And then schools where I grew up in Illinois, they would literally send kids home for that. If you had holes in your jeans, they would do it if your like skirt was a certain length.
It had to be past your fingertips. If
Yeah.
you
But she's like wearing a short skirt with like a tank top and like a cardigan thing on top.
It's a white spaghetti strap um, tank top,
Mhm.
but it shows a little bit of her belly, which that would have been out of there by that. And that
Yes.
especially back then.
Yes.
The skirt is way short, and she's also wearing almost to the knee, like not equestrian boots, but a boot with a heel.
Hmm.
And she has a blue little button up, like short sleeve men's. It's not a men's shirt; it's like a woman's fitted shirt, but it's a button up, and it's like short. And she has a white little clip in her hair. So 1997,
Very much. Yeah.
but very much not appropriate for school.
Yeah.
In my
Yeah. Well, and then Cordelia notices her and then tries to immediately take her under her wing and get her in line with her clique.
well, they're in class, and she's supposed to have a certain book,
Hmm.
and they're talking about the Black Plague, germ warfare. And so she's next to Cordelia, and they share the book. The class ends, and they start making their way because she's going to show her where the library is so she can get her own books. And they start as she tests her for her coolness factor, and she's all like, you can skip the written because you're from LA, so that's fine. But she asks like a series of questions like, vamp nail polish, frappuccinos trendy or tasty, because frappuccinos back then were brand new. So iced coffee was a new concept commercially.
Hmm.
And then asked her about John Tesh, and nobody knows who John Tesh is. Thank God, because he is just weird.
Who is John Tesh?
He was you know the show Entertainment Tonight, right?
Yes, of course.
So originally it was him and this woman. I can't remember her name now, because it was so long ago. But she was on there forever. And then he was one of the news anchor people, like for Entertainment Tonight. And then he started like some music career thing, but it was like piano, like kind of like Josh Groban type music, not necessarily jazz, but like in that genre, like who's the guy with the clarinet?
Because your stepdad made fun of this guy. Uh, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Kenny G.
Kenny G. So like that kind of music.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was very like it was just weird. So like that's why she was like John Tesh, and Buffy goes the devil, like.
Right. Right.
And she's like, that was a gimme. So you passed. She's like, oh, thank God. So she's hoping to get in that in crowd because Cordelia is Queen C. Like
Right.
she rules Sunnydale
Right.
as a sophomore. Or at least she thinks she does.
But then she sees a little interaction at the drinking fountain.
Water fountain, there is Willow.
Hmm.
And Cordelia is very much like, ugh, Willow, because Willow's kind of a nerd. And starts to berate her viciously, like Cordelia does.
Hmm.
And you can see in Buffy that she is not happy or comfortable, really, with how Cordelia is talking because Buffy was one of those girls back in LA, like
Hmm.
you said.
But she kind of makes like an immediate choice in that moment because, like we said, when she's in the movie, assuming that the movie is in continuation with the show, or the show's in continuation with the movie, she has those friends, those snarky, bitchy friends. And when she's in the movie, she's like, you guys don't think about anything. You guys don't care about anything.
Brain dead.
Right.
There-
So when she sees Cordelia act like that to Willow, she's like, "Oh no, no. I don't want to be a part of that group. I don't like those people. They don't care about anything."
I mean, and Cordelia eventually, a long way, she does change a lot more. But with that, afterwards, she gets shown where the library is, and she's supposed to meet up Cordelia later. So she goes to the library, and that's her first interaction with Giles. And she goes up there, and Giles knows her by name. And she's like, oh, I must be the only new kid here. That's weird, but okay. Because we understand Sunnydale is small. It's like a small town situation. It's not like a big
Yeah.
large. Because
Right.
they're 2 hours on the freeway away from Neiman Marcus, as they say in the show. So Giles then slams down a book which says vampire upon
The
it.
famous iconic vampire book.
Yeah, with a Y.
Hmm.
And she goes, I don't want that. And he's like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "I'm way sure." And he's like, "Oh, my mistake." And then as she's changing the books out, she just takes off, and then she heads out to the quad and meets Willow.
Right. And there she not only gets introduced, or not only meets Will, but she gets introduced to some of the other Scoobies. Well, one other Scooby, and then their friends. So we have Xander, who immediately starts to act like a puppy, a lost puppy. And then we have Jesse. Huh?
He tries to get with her,
Right.
but he's trying to get that. What are you
Right.
into? What kind of guy are you looking for? It's like, back off.
Starts humping her leg, essentially. And then we have Jesse as well, who's there. In my personal opinion, Jesse probably would have made a better Xander. I mean, he definitely had more of a suaveness to him, I guess.
He had a brain.
So,
He
yeah.
had more. He had like a more of a lot largic mind. Like he kind of like you could talk to him and you actually had an intelligent conversation. Whereas because when they first come out, when the very first beginning of the episode, um, Jesse says, "I hear there's a new girl," and Xander's like, "Yeah, I saw her." And he's like, "What do you know?" He's like, "New girl." He's like, "I guess that's it." Like they're having this like interaction of like no depth. But
Right.
but later on, you can see where Jesse has that depth, where Xander at the time is just like beach bum.
Right. Beach bum. Beach bum. Yeah. Yeah, that's the perfect way to
Like,
describe him.
really, honestly, they should have made. I know he's a skater boy, but really, he should have been like a beach bum boy.
Hmm.
But I think that's
Especially for the
Go ahead.
especially for the location. Because aren't they like it's like Sunnydale also conveniently close to a beach?
It's near the ocean, yeah.
Yeah.
And like it's kind of like you get Xander, who should have been the beach bum, and then you have Jesse, who's kind of like the skater.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Well, Cordelia spies her with the so-called misfits and confronts her about being amongst the misfits.
Sorry for your downward mobility. You won't be meeting Miss Coach Foster, the lady with the chest hair.
And then she mentions for the first time the fact that there's a dead student stuck or stuffed in the locker.
Which we saw that in the very beginning of the episode, which was not a point that we talk about because it's just a vampire killing somebody. So
Yeah.
that happened in the very beginning. But
And then that's when she's like, "Oh no."
she starts asking shit like questions like, "Oh, how did he die?" And Cordelia's like, "Morbid much? I don't know. I didn't ask." She's like, "Were there any marks?" She's like, "I don't know." And she's like, "Oh, I gotta go." And everybody's like, "You're fucking weird."
And then she returns herself back to the library.
She goes to the locker room first and
Well, yeah,
and then she sees the body to check it. It does have bite marks, but he's been fully drained.
right. Exsanguinated is the word. Yeah,
So he is not going to rise from the dead.
right.
He is
But
not
then she goes to the library, and then her and Giles have a formal, official conversation about her mystic duty.
what's the stitch? That's
Right.
from the original movie. Remember, they're like, "You're such a sketch,"
Hmm.
which I still don't understand what the hell that means, but whatever. And Giles starts, talking to her and is like, "You've done this. Like, you know it is." Because Buffy had a watcher who died in the movie, Merrick.
Hmm.
And that's the thing that changes. This is the first time we ever get to talk about really a watcher because Merrick was never called a watcher. Like, it was supposed to be his destiny to find the Slayer and train her till she dies. And then he dies and then he's reborn again and again and again. They changed that. And now there's a whole council.
An institution. An institution.
To make it very clear, it's not all men, it's men and women
Right.
council. Because I had that,
Right.
there's a discussion in the of Buffy book about it's run by all men. I was like, no, it's not. There are female watchers. Hello, did you not watch the show? Like,
With Gwendolyn Post, which is a character we will talk about eventually. But
and then in season 6 with Glory, when they come all together to test the stairway. There's a woman there, and she did her thesis on Spike.
right.
So it's like there are women. There's not,
Right.
not a lot of them, but there are women watchers. Faith, her original watcher, was a female.
I was gonna say, wasn't Faith's Watcher a woman?
Yes. So it's like it's just whatever. It's not a fully ran by men, but it was created by men. But it's getting that out there.
Right.
But so they have this whole scene where they're talking about she's like, she doesn't want to do it anymore. Like, after that whole episode with burning down the gym and coming here, she thought, like you said, fresh start, get a dog. I don't want to talk. I don't want to hang out with vampires. I don't want to talk about vampires. I'm
But
done.
see, this is also right. But this is also the first glimpse at the general isolation Buffy feels from being the Slayer because she's putting such emphasis on having a social life outside of slaying, which is a long running for the whole series. It's a long running thing where it's like you're not supposed to have a social life, Buffy.
They're not.
And she's like, I don't care. Like
He's like, I just want to go on a date. I just want to go one thing, just one thing,
Mhm,
one little thing,
mhm.
and then I'll end the, I'll help you out do this. Like, she wants to be normal, a normal person, which I'm like, why would you want to be? I want to be out kicking ass and killing fucking vampires.
I don't know when I was a teen, I don't remember anybody wanting to be quote unquote normal. We all wanted to be, summoned to Hogwarts or become the fucking beau of a vampire or something to that effect. We all
Bella.
wanted to be right. We all wanted to be different. We all wanted to be special and chosen and all that stuff.
Exactly.
So
Like, why would you? I mean, I get it, but also we said before on the other episode that we are not airing to anybody that Buffy, her calling is a complete and utter accident.
yes, yes,
There
that's
was
right.
there's a book called the Book of Fours, and does have parts of it with the Slayer before Buffy. Her name was Zendaya Cohen. Um, and if you look up the lineage of the Slayer on Buffy Wikipedia for Buffy, whatever it's called, Buffipedia, whatever. Um, it has like all these Slayers, and there was a Slayer between Zendaya and Buffy that lived literally for like an hour, maybe.
Yeah.
I think that people say like, oh, that's where it messed up because this person was supposed to be a Slayer and she died and it threw off a track.
Hmm.
Because technically, if she had lived long enough, then Buffy would have been passed through. Like, I'm not saying Buffy obviously wasn't a potential,
Right.
but they didn't know. Nobody knew who she was, and that's why Mary was late to her because technically the Slayer is taken away from her family and trained, where Buffy was allowed to stay with because it was so long into it that she was allowed to stay with her family and well her mother, and
Hmm.
that's why it was different. Like, it also goes to the part why people are like, why does Buffy get paid? It's like because she lived with her mother. Her mother took care of things. The Watcher takes care of the Slayer.
Right.
The tool, the Watcher is the employee.
Right. And it's supposed to be in the proper way, in the proper setting. The Watcher would basically be the guardian of the Slayer and take care of the Slayer's expenses and anything and everything having to do with the Slayer's, domestic needs and that kind of thing. The
They
Slayer's supposed
also,
to only the Slayer's supposed to only focus on hunting.
and they
That's
don't
all.
they
Right.
don't like
Right.
max maybe if they are lucky. What do they say? Like if they make it to their 18th birthday. Because
Right.
the Slayers are called between the ages of 13, 14, maybe 15 years old. That's that's that little bracket. That's the hit miss is that age bracket. After that, it's less likely, obviously, if certain things were to happen, but that's later on. But Buffy, that's why she barely got in because she was like 15 and she was on the later aspect.
Hmm.
That's why they were like, they didn't know it was going to be her.
Right.
So, with that said, so they have this whole outburst, and so she has enough of that stuff, and she goes home, and she's going to go to the Bronze, which is where Cordelia told her to meet her after that night. She's like, "We'll go to the Bronze," and she's like, "Okay, what is that?" She's like, "It's a club."
Which, by the way, the show for a little while has a long running thing where they put musical guests on it. And it was usually people who played music in like the college radio alternative scene. And this episode's musical guest was actually Sprung Monkey, which I insisted was Incubus, which I don't know why. But when you watch the episode and you see the singer, he kind of looks like the main singer
The
from
guy
Incubus.
in Incubus is like skinny, and he wasn't skinny.
No, he's a bit more chunky, a little
No.
bit more chunky. But they play a couple songs. They play Believe, Swirl, and Things Are Changing, which I think Things Are Changing is that like dark song they play.
No.
I think in like is it like the next episode or is it in this episode? I can't remember.
Probably in the next episode when
Yeah.
Vampires are walking towards the bronze.
Yeah, which I love that scene so much. But anyways, yes, she goes to the bronze, and on her way to the bronze, she gets followed by a mysterious character.
And she senses
And
him. Like she has like
yeah,
that's we were talking about last episode, that she has like a spidey sense.
yeah.
Where in the movie she had the period cramps. They got rid of that. Like
I'm so glad they did too, because that was kind of like that was a little
it's
misogynistic.
stupid.
Yeah,
Like because what it now like how they describe it is it's well how Merrick said it's like it's your body's reaction to their unnaturalness.
right.
Not humans. They're demon. Well, they're a hybrid. They're human demon hybrid.
So
And
just real quick, just because it's important to know this, vampires are half demon. They're not full demon. They're basically filled with the essence of the old one, or the first. I'm sorry, the first. That's the name. I can't remember the name of the demon that represents this
it's the
first.
Totocon.
Yeah,
The,
the
it's the
Turakan, right. And so when a vampire exchanges blood, which as Buffy refers to it as the whole sucking thing, when a vampire exchanges blood with a human,
basically just gonna kill you.
right,
What it is your soul dies.
right,
The body is still there, and the demon sets home inside the body. Still has your memories. Still has your the thoughts you had. Looks like you, but is not really you.
right.
That's why people
And
are like,
the
I can't kill him. Yes, you can because he's not him.
right. And that essentially the demon's essence is transferred via the blood.
Yeah.
So that's how they get more vampires. And essentially, the personality and memories and inclinations of these people remain, but the spirit, the actual essence of the person is gone. So they may act like
But
the
it's
person,
like you.
think like the person, speak like the person, feel about things the person did, but it's the demon. It's a demon. But that can also be in question because there are certain characters who, without a soul, go against their demonic nature. So
But that's also because of that thing.
maybe,
Like
maybe
because that part is
well,
able to be turned off, and then like it's kind of like shock
mm,
therapy.
we'll see.
But we'll get into that. What
We'll get into that.
I think
That'll be a big fight. That's gonna be a big fight. So yeah,
bring it on.
right. But anyways, as she's walking to the
Walking.
bronze, right? As she's walking to the bronze, because Sunnydale is so small, it's a small town that happens to also have its own teenage nightclub.
Bad
Um,
side of town's about half a block from the good side of town. They don't have a lot of town there.
exactly. But she senses herself being followed, and she does this acrobatic little trick where she holds herself up on a, what did you call it?
It's like a bar between like there's it's an alleyway she gets down, goes down, gets down,
Hmm.
goes down, and like between two buildings there's like a pole.
Yeah.
So she gets up on top, she jumps up to the pole. You don't see her jump to the pole, but she gets on top of the pole and is at a handstand.
Mm.
And then here comes the man who is following her, and she swings down, kicks him, knocks him to the ground, and then she takes her pose and goes, "Why the hell are you following me?" And he's like, "Don't worry, I don't bite." All
You're stupid.
right, it was like little boy me was like, "Oh yes,
You're so dumb. He's not that cute, whatever.
yes." You leave him alone.
Um,
We're talking about Dave Morgan, who plays
yeah,
it.
that's who we're talking about. It's Angel, and he kind of is a little flabbergasted, but I
Yeah, I
think,
thought the bigger muscles and all that.
yeah, yeah.
Mr. T.
Isn't this also where they cut to a scene where it shows the master coming out of a puddle of blood?
Yeah, there's it cuts away after when she leaves the library.
Hmm.
He's all like, there's all this stuff. She's like, come on, it's Sunnydale. How bad of an evil can there be? And then it fades down below where Luke is summoning the master out of the pool of blood that he is hibernating basically in.
Hmm.
And that's how the first time you ever see the master
Right.
comes up. And then he asks Luke, he's like, basically he tells Luke that he's starving. He's been asleep for so long. And he's like, I already have our minions out looking for food. He's like, make them young.
Hmm.
So at this point, we just know that he is now the big baddie, and that
Batty.
they're out looking for food, not excuse me, not sacrifices, but food. So now, okay, so she's with Angel, and he warns her that the harvest is coming. And he's like, tells her, like, maybe I'm a friend. And she's like, I don't need a friend. She's like, I didn't say it was your friend. I just said I'm a friend. And then he tosses her a jewelry box with her iconic silver cross.
Hmm.
And then she goes, that's when she shows up to the bronze. And she finds Willow at the bar by herself waiting for Xander. And Jesse is there, but he is talking to Darla.
Darla.
So she talks to Willow, and Willow's like, it must be easy for you to date guys. And Buffy's like, don't you date? She's like, no, it's really hard because I have nothing a lot to say. And I think guys like it when you talk. And she's like, you really haven't been dating a lot because guys don't want to hear you talk. I'm like, so you have to live for the moment, which is carpe diem. Live for the now because tomorrow you might be dead. And then she spots Giles watching the young ones. And
Which is weird.
yes, but he's looking for her.
Yeah.
He's rather be home reading a good.
Imagine being like, okay, a normal student at Sunnydale, and you go to the teenage hangout spot, and you see the fucking librarian just leering at everybody.
You see Captain.
Oh,
You see Captain Tweed.
yeah, he's just leering at everybody. It's like, this is weird. Why is this man in this place?
That's also like when she goes and confronts him, and he's like, "I don't want to be here. I'd rather be home with a good book and a bottle of I don't know, some kind of brandy."
Yeah.
And he starts to talk to her. He brings up the nightmares, I think, then, and then he also is like, "There could be a vampire now. This is a good den for hunting for them. People are distracted." And he's like, "Can you pick one out of the crowd?" And she's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Can you try?" Like he like basically taunting her to try. And he's in this whole, "I'm a vulture. I'm from Britain." And she's like right there. And he's like, "You didn't hone." She's like, "Come on, look how he's dressed. He looks like DeBarge," which is a 80s band. And then that's when she sees that Willow is with the dude that she is, his name is Thomas. We find that out later.
Hmm.
And Thomas leads Willow because he is one of the master's people, and he's looking for the master's lunch.
And then Willow, I'm sorry, not Willow, but Buffy goes to find Willow, and she can't. But then, as she's doing it, Xander strolls up next to her and goes, "Are you looking for a vampire to slay?" Which we didn't mention was,
Like, have
which
you
we didn't, right, which we didn't mention was when Buffy has the conversation with Giles in the library. Xander happens to overhear them. He happens to overhear them talking about her destiny, and he's like, "A slayer?
what?
What?"
When she confronts him outside the bronze, he's
Yeah,
like, "Have you seen?" She's like, "Not tonight. I haven't seen Willow." She's like, "Well, she left here with a guy." She's like, "No, we need to go find her." And he's like, "Whatever, she's fine. I hope he's not a vampire, because then you might have to slay him." And she's like, "Was there a school bulletin stating
yeah,
Buffy's here? She's the Slayer?" And he's like, "I think you only think you're the Slayer," like calling her basically crazy. And she's like, "If you don't help me find them, she's basically going to be dead by morning."
right.
And that's our,
Which the reason why it's important that the Master get young blood because he's entrapped in his. Okay, so back in I believe it was like the 18th century when the conquistadors were settling in California, they had like a mission or something there, like some kind of church, and he was using it as his headquarters apparently. And so it says that half of Sunnydale sank into the earth, and Will suspects that it was because a Slayer had made that happen, but they never clarify if that was the reason or not. But he gets trapped in it, and it's kind of like this old Gothic church type thing, like a ruined Gothic church in the ground, essentially, and he can't leave a barrier.
in 1937, Sunnydale, an earthquake swallowed the Order of Aurelius
Hmm.
Church, entombing the master in it when it
Right,
fell. And that's how he became entrapped within the whole.
right. And Giles mentions in the library that the Spanish referred to the Hellmouth as, was it El or La Boca del Infierno?
Boca
Yeah,
del Infierno. I can't say it.
which literally just means Hellmouth.
It means mouth of hell,
Yeah,
which is a portal key opening to hell.
right.
Basically, it's the magnification of evil, and it draws in everything: incubi, succubi, werewolves,
All
vampires,
of it. All of
witches,
it.
everything. It's more. It's like you said, a nexus. It is a magical. It's heightened. It's powerful. There's also one in Cleveland.
Apparently.
So, so the master is trapped kind of behind this barrier, and he cannot be released. Which the harvest is what he has been waiting for, and what that means that Luke will become a vessel of sorts.
Right. Right.
Because the master can't leave, so Luke will have to. It's like they're symbiotic. They're together. They have a magical link together because with Luke taking lives, it allows the energy, the blood force, basically, to release the master to go through the portal.
It gives him like the strength to break the barrier, basically.
Basically, so we end up with Willow inside a graveyard, and Thomas is leading her to a crypt. The crypt is a significant piece that I can say now, but it is in part two, it's episode two, The Harvest, is the gateway to get into the underground sewers that go to where the master is.
Well, and it's interesting that you said part because this episode and the next episode are basically part one and part two of each other. Even though they have separate titles and everything, they're basically the second episode is a continuation of the first. Yeah.
It's one large episode that they broke into two. Because every other kind of episode we see in Buffy from, unless it's like, end of season two, becoming is one, like becoming one, there's two parts.
Right.
Right. One long episode because you can only do an hour, which is actually 45 minutes because of commercials. But so Thomas brings Willow there. Willow says she doesn't want to be there. And then all of a sudden Jesse shows up and Darla has brought Jesse. So you have Willow, Jesse, Darla, and Thomas inside the tomb.
The mausoleum.
Yeah, the mausoleum. Jesse has already been bitten by Darla because Darla does whatever the fuck Darla wants. And because she got hungry on the way.
And then the master goes, "You've tasted him."
Yeah.
You've
So
tasted
at this
him.
point, they're like, that's when Darla reveals her face to Willow for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Buffy and Xander happen just to walk in and see them. And they're like, "Who the hell are you?" And she's like, "Oh," she starts like doing her spill because she's like, "Everybody else knows who I am. How the hell do you not know who I am?" And they're like, "Oh." So she has Darla to her front, which is the opening of the gateway, the entrance to the mausoleum. And then Thomas is slowly sneaking behind her.
Mm-hmm.
And as he goes to pounce on her, she has a stake in her arm, inside her shirt, and she stakes him from behind. And that's the first time you see a vampire turn to dust. Because vampires don't catch on fire; they don't just fall down; they just into dust.
Yeah, right.
And then Darla calls him young and stupid, and Buffy tells him to run, and then she takes on Darla herself. And as she actually is kicking Darla's ass, not gonna lie. From behind, Luke comes and grabs her by the neck.
But see, Darla's like, first she's shocked because Buffy's able to go head to head with her, which it doesn't look like it, but these vampires are powerful. So for a human, a mortal, to be fighting her toe to toe and be kicking her ass, it's going to confuse her.
Like, later on, we know that Darla knows what a Slayer is.
Right.
She's never faced a Slayer.
Right.
And as we go on into Angel and everything else, we'll be able to we'll understand more of what Darla understands goes on with people who fight vampires, mostly an Angel because of who hunts her, an Angel. But she's never faced a Slayer. She never faced a Slayer.
Never.
What we understand from the show and everything else, she has never. Only Spike has ever faced a Slayer. Two, besides Buffy.
Right. And it's kind of Spike's calling card to be a Slayer, to be
Yeah.
the killer of the Slayer.
He likes to kill Slayers.
Right. It's his thing.
So, and he learns that from Angel because he didn't know what a Slayer was either until Angel told him.
Right.
But so she then is grabbed by Luke and is thrown to the side because he's a little bit stronger. Which he's, I guess, he must be older than Darla.
Yeah. Well, he's like, you're strong, but
Oh,
I'm stronger.
like you dolly with this little girl, and
Right.
while Harvest is around the corner, and she's like, "Luke, she's strong. I don't know." And then he's like, "Go." And we had offerings, but they got away. And he's like, "Go. I can handle the little girlie."
Right. But then when Luke starts to basically beat her ass, he starts to recite
She gets her punches in, but it's not like
yeah. But she gets kind of thrown, not well, literally thrown, but she gets kind of like shocked by his
she's
strength
not,
because right, she wasn't anticipating him being so strong. But while he's doing all that, he's reciting the harvest prophecy to her, which
like a
is
boy,
the
mankind. Blah, 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 blah.
right, which is like a normal thing and shows like this and stories like this where the villain eventually just starts to recite their evil plan.
He's like, on the third day of the third night will come the harvest, and the
Right.
blood of men will flow like wine, and the master will walk the earth once more. And then he throws her into a tomb that
The
has,
coffin.
yeah, well, it's tombish. It has made of concrete, but yes, there is a dead body, well, skeletal body, and she's laying there. Well, she's like, "Did he leave?"
Right.
And all of a sudden he pounces in and he goes, "Amen," because he's like basically he's giving a sermon.
Right.
And
Because it's a cult.
Yeah.
It's the cult of Aurelius. So
so then he goes down to look like he's gonna bite her, and that's how the episode.
right. So I gotta ask you, when you first watched this episode back, right? How did you feel about the episode? Like can
It
you
was just
remember?
like you watch it and you were like,
Yeah.
what is it? Like it was like nothing seen before. Like you're just like, I don't know. I can't like fully remember, but it was like that excitement of it. You're like, what is this? Like
Yeah.
it's just because there was nothing like it ever.
I unfortunately didn't get the virtue of not knowing because I watched the show after like years had passed after it came out. So I knew obviously she wasn't gonna die. But it was also kind of cool because it was like, oh, this was good. I'm so excited to see what happens next.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see what more happens in this world that Joss has made.
yeah. It was like, well, back then, like we didn't have things like that. Like we didn't have, you know, Marvel and DC, like we didn't call it that. We didn't call it the the Marvel verse or whatever, the Buffy verse. Like
Marvel verse.
that should, but we didn't call it like Buff. Like now it's called the Buffy verse, obviously.
Right.
But back then it was just a show, and it was just like, what's next? Like it was so entrapping. Like just the thought of like this is really cool. Like hot chick with superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
And what's next? And then you get your romance, you get the drama, you get the violence, what you call
The drama.
dramatia. But I just remember the part about it mostly was like the love story between her and Angel, which we'll get into a lot later, but not really. Cause like since we're skipping episodes, it'll only be like a couple episodes from now. We'll talk about the whole Angel. There will be an Angel episode.
Yes.
Actually describes all about Angel for the most part, but we can describe him more when we get further in because there's a lot of stuff.
We're like chomping at the bit to tell all the stuff.
I know, it's just like maybe we should sit here and just talk, which is fine. But yeah, it was like that. Their love story for me was like, as you say, basically it's like hot and fresh. It was just like because it's that time frame where I was maturing.
The Little Caesars Pizza romance.
It was the puberty part. It was just like, oh, it's a love story.
Uh-huh.
And then you get the fighting. That was the best part. Like I was like kick ass because in my head I was like, I wish I could do what you're doing. This is life is boring as fuck.
Well, I mean, everything that you were dealing with in your
Yeah.
life at the time. So
It was
it
like
was a,
she was my outlet to like kind of like when I play the games. Like when I'm in a bad mood, I want to play the game because I can beat the fuck out of vampires and
right.
I can channel it into her and I can just out.
But there's a lot of people who probably have a similar feeling,
Yeah,
you
probably.
know.
It'd be
She
nice.
was, well, obviously, I'm clearly a lot of women who were girls at the time who probably looked up to Buffy and were like, it's so nice to see someone who's like us
Yeah, but we're
on
not.
TV.
Not all of us are. These weak. We can't stand up to boys. We can't play sports like boys, and we can't do this with boys, and blah blah blah. It's like yes, you can. Well,
You can do all the stuff. Well, yeah, yeah. Well, especially her with her mystic strength and all. But
she
and
has the
her,
strength of like 100 men, like
yeah,
not like normal men, like body. Think of 100 big, burly, worked on the Titanic type men. Those kind of.
worked on.
Men.
That's where your mind went. Was the
I was like
Titanic?
big, like those guys who like
Yeah,
they worked hard, they threw like pipes and they built these things, these empires and everything else. Those kind of men, picture 100 of them all combined into one body.
yeah.
5'3", 5'3" girl, petite girl, and she has that kind of strength. And she only gets stronger as she gets.
Actually, she goes right. And it's so funny to think like imagine just being like, like a football player or somebody, and this little 5'3" girl just comes up and fucking knocks you over. Like, how does she do that? Like, and I can't imagine what that would feel like getting hit with someone by that kind of strength or who
Well,
has that kind of strength.
in the next episode when we talk about it, she talks about the little exacto knife and the football player, which was
Yeah,
which took place in Henry, did not happen in Sunnydale. So that's another connection to her old ways.
right.
And then we also have the episode later on in season. Um, I want to say I think it's season 3. Where shit, fuck, sorry, um, where she's helpless,
Hmm. Oh
ever,
yeah.
and she gets a taste of
Yep.
what it's like to be that.
Yep. That's true. I forgot about that.
So we
I
do get to
forgot
see
about that.
scenes and stuff like that where she isn't able to be, and then that kind of helps her realize, like she does say in the one episode. I will not say what it is because we'll get there. It's not that far away, but she's like, I know what goes bump in the night now. I know
Mm.
what's out there. I can't go back to being
A
a
normal.
girl
Right.
because I know too much.
Right. And then on top of it, like, would have been interesting if Buffy came out a little later and like this effects for television was a bit more sophisticated. Like, because we know, like, okay, I always think of that scene in Blade 2 where he's fighting I think his name's like Novak. And they're like fighting and like he like falls to the ground knee first and like makes a dent in the ground and like they like throw each other into the wall and it fucking destroys the steel beams and stuff.
Well,
And I
they had movie money, and this is TV money for
yeah.
the.
But still, I think it's important to illustrate like that's what it would actually look like for Buffy to do these things to these creatures. It would be them flying through walls, hair destroying steel beams
They
with the
kind of
punch.
started doing that near the end of the whole
Yeah,
show. They were able to, that budget was there. UPN kind of gave them a lot more leeway than the
right.
W. And it was after The Matrix. And that's where they started learning how to use this.
Oh yeah, because she does
Yeah,
do that. Yep, that's
explains my
right.
citrus. She's like, and another person has said, she's like, oh, the graphics are so 90s. It's like, yeah, I know, but it is 90s. And I mean, it's nostalgic to me. Like, to me, look back, which I mean, this person's near my age. I mean, it's fine, but.
Right.
And I love her to death. She's a wonderful person. Like, I know it's 90s. I know. But
But
it's
it's
like,
still so good.
I like, yeah, it's not like perfect, but also like this, she said that I don't want to, she knows who I'm talking about. But she was like, oh, like you've only watched one episode. She only watched the first episode. It's like, that was like kind of like a second pilot. As it
Mhm.
goes on, the graphics got a little bit better. I mean, what they did with the on graduation, that was decent CGI with
Right.
the mayor. So it was like, I mean, it's a TV show. It's not a
Right.
Hollywood movie. They don't have. It's not like it's Michael Bay and you're doing Transformers.
No,
It's TV and it's
it
90s.
is.
And
And
that was,
TV now, they don't have that kind of effects for TV shows.
and
So,
it's also, you gotta think also, movies are movies and TV is TV. And back in the day, like I said, Buffy was fresh. It was new. Same with Charmed.
hmm
Like in those situations, because before you had like I Dream of Jeannie, and it was about
right.
cloud smoke, and then you had Bewitched, which all she did was move her nose, and something with a string came around and moved around. You didn't have, but everybody loves Bewitched and loves I Dream of Jeannie. It's like, okay, then Buffy's that way too.
hmm
You have to look at the old way that it was to have that nostalgia. I mean,
Right.
to me, like I'll stand that soapbox.
I know.
I, I will defend this show. I will defend Charmed, and I will defend Angel.
I would too, because
They are,
those shows are important, and as much as people try to make them seem like they're irrelevant, they're still relevant. They're very relevant. They're
and
very
really,
relevant.
honestly, like besides that first, like a couple outfits in the very first season, beginning or whatever, a lot of the stuff that they wear, like they were preceding fashion early. Like I'm looking at the one poster I have in front of me that's new, and she's wearing the purple tank top with the purple skirt with the purple heels. That would be worn today. I'm like, the fashion still sticks.
And it's frustrating because shows like that 90s show, which was awful,
Thank God it
it
got
was,
canceled.
yes, awful. I was so disappointed with that show. They had so much reference for like the fashion and like the talking and everything. And it was like it was Gen Zers pretending to be in the 90s,
Yeah, it's like
basically.
we're gonna pretend, and like it's like even one of the characters, he's wearing a jersey that of a football player who in the 90s wasn't even a football player. His number and his name were not even a football player. Like
hmm
honest, I was like, you guys did not do your research well enough. And like there was no, wedge flip flop, there was no real true grunge.
Butterfly hair clips and
That came in later 90s. This supposed to be like the first part of the
yeah.
90s. Like there was no grunge. There was no like the girls in the craft. Like it wasn't that like I call it mini goth, which is the girls in the craft, like not hardcore goth. But there was not any of that. It was just like you went to the Gap and found this really cute, like this wannabe 90s dress and put it on.
Which sucks because there's literally time capsules, perfectly good time capsules like Buffy, who could show you what it was like. Like at least with that 70s show, they had to dig to get the perfect media to encapsulate the times. But we had with the 90s, there was a perfect representation of what culture was like at that time, and they didn't use that as a reference point.
And if you look at with also Buffy, like in the fashion and stuff, like certain outfits like Willow wore and stuff like that, we're still a little throwback to like you can get a little bit of the 70s, a little bit 80s, like with Xander, where he just a little bit, not a lot, but there's like a mutation.
hmm
They still wore certain things they knew because they grew up like they would have been children in the 80s
Right,
show. So still had touches of that, but they also were mutating into the 90s.
right.
So it was like, anyways, we will not be covering that 90s show.
Absolutely not. Like absolutely not. But we could talk forever about the fashion and the culture. We could talk forever about the philosophical and moral dilemmas, but that would take many, many hours, which we do not have. So that wraps up our coverage of season one, episode one of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Next week, we will be covering season one, episode two, The Harvest. As much as we appreciate all your support, I know you'll get a kick out of Becky Anderson's podcast, What's On Tonight, where she covers season six of What We Do in the Shadows for more undead amusement. This can be found on Spotify, YouTube, Podcast Addict, Deezer, Podchaser, and a bunch more. Just look under Pirate Court Entertainment. You can also hear me and Becky on various podcasts on Adrenaline Cinema Podcasts, also found in the aforementioned sites. And my good buddy Mark Kirkman, who not only encouraged me to do this podcast, but has been, as I said before, patiently teaching me how to edit and put them together. So check out his work too. The Slay Lounge podcast can be found on the sites listed. just so you know. Also, I know we put in the little writing for the podcast that we're on Apple. That takes a while. It
Yeah.
takes a while for us to be on Apple, so you'll have to patiently wait for us to be available on Apple. Apple is very thorough about their copywriting and all that other stuff, so it takes some time. Eventually, we'll be on Apple.
And we have things coming down the pipeline also. With,
Yeah.
like we want to do merch, and we want to start like moving on to maybe conversing with people. And I am on all the Buffy groups on Facebook.
You can see his comments. Trust me, you'll know. If you'd like to give feedback, we now have an email address and an Instagram. You can email us at theslayloungepodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's theslayloungepodcast@gmail.com. Or follow us on Instagram at the Slay Lounge Podcast.
Make sure
Again.
make sure to add the podcast because there
Yes.
are 2 nail salons that say the Slay Lounge.
Yes.
Just
And I'm pretty sure they're fantastic and wonderful, and I probably want to get my nails done by them, but they are not us.
just
But-
one.
No. Oh, yeah, just one. But again, I am Billy.
I'm Will.
If the apocalypse comes,
Come beat me.
beat me.